They believe they're destined for great things. Just like many of you, their eyes are full of hope. Just like you.
In 1989, a film called The Dead Poets Society was released. It was directed by Peter Weir and starred Robin Williams and Robert Sean Leonard. The film is about a group of students at a prep school and their teacher who was able to teach them wonderful things. When watching the film, we're practically awestruck by what we see. The opportunities that these students have for learning and education, it's truly marvelous. There aren't even words to describe it. But what a film downplays, particularly a film like this, is that they're at a private school, and it doesn't really acknowledge that, unfortunately, many students in public schools do not have the same opportunities. Ah, the United States. History textbooks will tell you that this is the birthplace of freedom. What those same textbooks will neglect to tell you is that this was also the birthplace of the achievement gap. The achievement gap has gotten worse in recent years, resulting in the signing of the No Child Left Behind Act of 2001, which President George W. Bush signed into effect with bipartisan support. The No Child Left Behind Act made it so that standardized testing was the primary determinant of whether or not a student can pass through the academic grade levels. Unfortunately, this only made the achievement gap wider. On top of that, it adversely affected the students in a different way. I'm not entirely sure about other states, but I know that here in Florida, the amount of money that a school gets is based directly on how well its students score on the standardized testing. Currently, only about 34% of education costs are supplied by the state government in Florida. That's about half of what it used to be. Unfortunately, this has caused Florida to rank 49th in the nation in the amount contributed to educate a child.
I, Rick Scott, do solemnly swear.
Our state government isn't doing too much to help that right now, either. Okay, so let's take a look at this place. This is called Bay County. Bay County has a very diverse student population, but unfortunately, budget cuts are hurting that student population. In an attempt to gather more information, I traveled to some of the schools in Bay County and spoke with some of their principals. Okay, so what kind of cuts are we getting because of the budget?
Well, we're going to have unit allocation cuts from last year to this year. We're going to lose 7 units for next year, which means 7 teachers that we have on staff now will not have positions next year. Some of those positions will be taken care of with retirements, and some will be taken care of with annual contract teachers that will just be non-renewed. But we still will have some other teachers that will not have a job next year at Rutherford High School. Our school budget has been cut to about 15% from last year to this year. About a $30,000 cut in operating budget, and of the money that we are allocated for our school budget, approximately 92% of it goes towards salaries for our non-instructional folks. So obviously that leaves less money for programs and for operating expenses throughout the school year.
And you think that adversely affects the students too?
Well, this year it's definitely going to adversely affect students because we're going to have to cut out some of the electives that we've been able to offer. We're just not going to be able to offer them next year. We're going to have teachers that have formerly been teaching things like art or any other type of elective, home ec, sewing, things that are really good classes that kids need that learn skills for or with. And they're going to have to be teaching reading, and they're going to have to be in an English classroom. Teachers are going to have to teach the basics.
Rutherford High School is probably the most diverse school in Bay County. It's probably also the school with the widest achievement gap. It's unfortunate that so many teachers are being forced to leave. It makes it very difficult to help the students in need.
I have always said that Rutherford is the most diverse. It is the most diverse socioeconomically. We have students here from every socioeconomic strata. We are very diverse religiously. So we do have this wide range of ethnicities represented here. See, that covered ethnicity and socioeconomic and religious.
Okay.
Obviously, a wide range of abilities
Yeah.
as well. And for years, we have had a lot of the programs that were associated with disability, for lack of a better word at the moment. We have had the autism program centered here. It has been moved. It's not here this year, but we did have that. We have several people in wheelchairs. We have different types of ESE programs available as well.
In case you didn't notice, Mrs. Simonson said that Rutherford High School has a fair few students that are in wheelchairs. What she didn't say, though, was that Rutherford High School is actually the only high school in Bay County that's fully wheelchair accessible. In 2004, Congress passed the IDEA Act, which made it so that any student with disability could get the same public education as any other student. It also guaranteed them the necessary accommodations, such as ramps, elevators, and transportation. If they choose to make benefit from these accommodations, and they're in high school, they basically have to go to Rutherford, even if they live an hour away. It would be better if more schools were to make it more accessible, but unfortunately, that takes a lot of time and a lot of money. Because the schools aren't getting enough money, we can't afford to put in more wheelchair ramps like this one, which are actually more expensive and time-consuming than you might think because the regulations for building them are rather strict. Unfortunately, this looks like a never-ending paradox. We can't accommodate the students because we don't have the money. We can't get the money because of the achievement gap. We can't close the achievement gap because we're losing teachers, and we're losing teachers because we don't have the money. So what it comes down to in the end is that we need more of this: money. If schools get more money, it'll be better for everyone, including teachers and students. Unfortunately, such a quick fix does not exist. But if we get moving, we can start setting things in motion that will eventually fix it all. If we try hard enough, we can fix the budget, we can fix the achievement gap, and we can fix accommodations, and make schools a better place for students like these. It can be done. We just have to do something about it.